Hey, I'm Brian Van, SportBikeTrackHere.com. Today we're going to break down the all-new Arai Contour X full-face helmet. The Contour X from Arai retails for $749 for a solid all the way up to $889. For a kick-ass graphic like this Jolly Roger that we have in front of us, this is the Josh Hayes replica helmet. Who is this helmet right for? This helmet is right for street and track or some crossover. It's an Arai, so its heritage all comes from the racetrack. They've spent many decades racing, they've learned a lot, and they've applied it to all of the helmets they build, which includes this one. What comes in the box? You're going to get the helmet with a clear shield. It comes with a chin curtain that's fixed in place, and they also have the Pinlock 120 fog-free lens that you can install on that clear shield if you want fog-free performance. Helmet fit. This helmet was built in the intermediate oval head shape. I measure 58 centimeters on the money with an intermediate oval shape. I get a perfect fit from this helmet. Its level of comfort, you probably see me kind of pausing there, its level of comfort is really something special. One of the most special things with this is the way it goes on and comes off. It requires very little effort as compared to many of its direct competitors to pull it on and off. And I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit right now because I think it's really kind of a key feature. Everybody has different preferences. Myself, I like a helmet that has a very snug fit, and when you pull it over, I'm okay with a little extra effort if it really leaves me feeling captured almost to the point where you could race in it without doing up the chin strap. What Arai has done is they have engineered a way to have the opening at the bottom of the shell a little bit larger, and then they leverage some really cool engineering on the cheek pads to still give you that captured feeling. It differs a little bit from the previous style that I described, but it still definitely gives you that captured feeling just at slightly less level, right? So kind of use that along with the size chart and the interior head shape of the helmet to help choose the one that's going to get the best fit for you. Weight. This helmet weighed 3.4 pounds on our digital shipping scale. This helmet here in a size medium. Bluetooth compatibility. Arai has designed this helmet to accept any of the universal Bluetooth communicators that are on the market today. We're going to show you in more detail as we get deeper into this video, kind of the nuances with the interior that are going to allow for the installation. Ventilation. That's going to be a strong point of this helmet. Well, not exactly where their flagship Corsair X is, this helmet's going to move air at a very high level. It has a switchable vent here, 3-position in the chin. This is going to drive air into the chin, also up onto the shield for demisting purposes. The famous Arai shield vents, there's little ducts that are right behind that drive the air right to your temples. That's a hot spot. It really helps to make you feel cooler and more comfortable when you're riding. Up here in the brow of the helmet, this vent, the logo vent they call it, is switchable on or off. There are two 10-millimeter holes behind this. The air comes in here at the bottom, drives into the helmet. Two switchable vents up here on the crown. For exhaust, we have a switchable vent back here on the diffuser, and then we have two Venturi vents that are molded right into the shell. This helmet is going to move a solid amount of air. It's going to be very, very close to what they get with the Corsair X. Shell construction. This uses the premium multi-fiber design from Arai. These are hand-built still in Japan. The EPS that they use inside, it uses multiple different densities. You can kind of see it in the coloration, and we'll show you that when we have this torn apart, and I can give you a look from the inside out. You can see the different color bands. They tune the energy management of the helmet dependent upon the area. There's areas where it needs to really slow it down and other areas where it's more beneficial if it collapses a little bit easier. Safety standards. Here in the US, this is to the DOT standard, of course, and the latest and greatest Snell standard. Noise. Even though this helmet moves a ton of air, right? They've done things to mitigate the noise. The first thing is that fixed chin curtain and these cheek pads that are really going to cradle your jaw. That seals it up nice in that area, helps to keep it quiet. These side pods have gotten smaller and smaller over the years. They're not as far out in the wind as they used to be. That really helps to reduce wind noise. My expectations for this helmet, the noise level is very acceptable for the amount of air that it moves, okay? You have a well-vented helmet, it is going to produce some noise. Glasses compatibility. They did a great job with that. We've got some B-roll Tom's going to show you. They slide right in, they ride where they should, and they're easy out. The shell design. This is something that we're going to touch on. We've hit it in other Arai videos in the past. They, and through all their helmets, have the same exact shape. They believe round is stronger, and it also helps the helmet to glance off of irregularities in the pavement rather than catching, jamming your neck, transferring more energy, causing a tumble. Anything you see on the exterior of the helmet, such as this diffuser, is designed in a crash to break away very easily and not take a lot of energy to make that happen. These little vents would be the same thing. The shell shape is the foundation of the Arai helmet. It's something they believe in very deeply, and given their reputation and performance, I would say it is effective. Now let's move on to the shield change. There were times that changing an Arai shield was difficult. Over many years, they've refined it. This is one of the easiest ones. This is the easiest one they've ever had, and to be fair, it's probably one of the easier ones on the market at this point, even though it might involve a couple extra steps. The first part I want to show you is the shield lock itself. That is the locked position. To release it, lift up. That pulls the shield away from the lock. You can see we've got a couple of detents here. There's a detent, there's all the way open. Push it down to lock it in place. Release, lift up. To remove the shield from the helmet, there are little triggers right here on both sides. You're going to push in, you're going to see that side plate pop right off. When you push it back, the trigger is going to be held in place. That is necessary for removing the helmet. If the trigger jumps forward and you're having a hard time getting the shield off, push the trigger back and you'll be able to get it off. Now, we're going to go ahead and rotate the shield until this brass locator button jumps into that red circle dot. Once it does, you can pull right out on the shield and off it comes. To reinstall the shield, the triggers automatically release when you remove the shield. Just go ahead and leave those in that forward position now. Slide the shield over in the orientation that I just showed you right there. It's almost closed. Get that lined up with the red dot. Hold that one side into position. Come on over to the other side. And it's just a mirror image. Like so. Rotate it back. Rotate it forward to make sure it's in. We're good to go. Let's go ahead and grab these side pod covers. I like to come in from the back side. There's a tab right here that needs to drop in this slot here. And then push in down here at the bottom. We're going to do the same here on the other side. So basically top, back, top to bottom. Push in, make sure they're clipped in. Before you ride, always actuate the shield a couple of times just to make sure everything is held in place securely. One thing they've added, this was done several seasons ago, is they've added those little tethers to those side pods, because if you don't get them clipped in all the way, people would maybe lose it while they're riding or racing. That problem is completely eliminated with that tether. Now let's take a closer look at the interior of this helmet. There's a lot of engineering that's gone into that, and it's really pretty interesting when you get it apart and you have a look. Start with the shield being removed. The helmet comes with emergency release cheek pads. It's a cool feature. How many emergency personnel really know about it? I don't know, man. So to remove these cheek pads, what I'll do is I'll grab the top of the pad and basically simulate the same motion that you would with the emergency release. I'm just going to pull the pad down like so, and it comes right out. We'll do that for the other side. For the top pad, there are 2 snaps at the front, 2 snaps in the rear. Go ahead and get your thumb or finger in between the backing of the top pad and the EPS of the helmet. Apply pressure in the area of the snap. The snap is going to release. Okay, the interior itself. While I don't see this called out in the literature for the helmet, it does look like it has the 5mm peel away layer right here. You can see it's very kind of loosely glued. It can come out, and oftentimes if the glue hasn't dried, you can get it back together. You would use that if the helmet feels tight side to side, right? If you're maybe a little rounder in shape and you need a little more room in that area. And I wouldn't do any of this until you've worn the helmet enough to break it in, right? If it still feels a little tight after it's been broken in over a reasonable period of time, try removing those peel away layers, reinstalling your top pad, and see if that's improved the fit for you. Beyond that, you can see with this top pad, this is multi-piece, right? A lot of stuff going on here. All high-end materials, all once again done by hand in Japan. The cheek pads, this is absolute marvel. When you see all the material that goes into this, so you have an EPS backing. There's the plastic locator clip that helps to hold it in place, and you have multi-density foam pieces, all layered on. Okay, covers off the cheek pad. Now let's take a look at this marvel of engineering. You've got an EPS backing for energy management, and Arai also works as a support base for all these different density foams that are layered up to create this cradle effect. Look at how, totally see the contour to this thing, right? And the way, look at how that snaps back. As you get further towards the EPS, the pieces get more and more rigid. There's a little stiffening piece there. It's like a rubber piece. Pretty darn cool. If you're going to install a universal Bluetooth communicator into this, you're going to have to pull the cheek pads apart like I've shown you, and there is a foam circle right here that's going to need to be removed. You'll put the adhesive backing there for the speaker. Go ahead and stick that in place. They have also included in the neck roll, which is not removable. The neck roll, as well as the chin curtain, are fixed in place for this helmet. On the left side, which is the same side you would mount the electronics for any one of the Bluetooth controllers, there is a little pocket to tuck away all of the excess cabling to really get a nice, clean, tidy install. There's a little pass-through right here, too, that you could use to run the wires through, right? Come off the unit, run through there, so you get a good, clean install. We're going to do an install video on this exact helmet with a Cardo here in the next week or two. Inside the helmet, you can see all the ventilation holes in the EPS, and most importantly, the different colors in the EPS. Each one of those colors represents a different density. Pretty cool. That's the way Arai does it. So the EPS is one solid piece, with the exception, of course, of the backing on the cheek pads. Remember, the fit of any Arai helmet is fully customizable with different cheek pads, different top liners. Our staff is here to help you with that. We have videos on that. It's all laid out clearly on the website. If you have any further questions, go ahead and leave those in the comments section of this video. I answer all that stuff myself, and I'm always here to help you choose the right helmet for your next ride.